All right. Being burnt out. Now, I can tell you now, being burnt out didn't come from working too hard. What it came from was the fact that I wasn't living my life in the right way. My name is Warren Barnes, and I help you to create your best and most conscious life by combining both physical and spiritual development. So let's just get straight into it. What is the first thing? Well, the first thing is the most obvious. The most obvious thing that you can do when you're getting burnt out. Life is getting too tough, stressful. And that is letting go of some of your commitments. Toning down the workload. It sounds so obvious, but obviously we want to keep it simple. We have to keep it simple. And for this, it wasn't so much about cutting out everything and having nothing to do and just, you want to keep that working hard aspect. It's such a powerful tool to have. But it's about prioritizing what is actually important in the moment right now. Now, for me, the way I did this was the way my week looked was I was working 4 days a week, Tuesday to Friday. And the reason is because on Sunday and Monday, I was doing my house build. My father and I are busy building my wife and I's dream home right now, which I can put a link up to the videos if you want to see that. It's a whole new series. But that meant that Saturday was my only day off. And during the Saturdays was the lawns and my YouTube channel and everything else that needed to be done. Alongside that, some days after work, I'll be going up to the farm to do more house build. I was doing 5 days a week before work, working out for 45 minutes plus multiple meditations every week. I can tell you now, with all of that alone was tough enough for me. But my wife and I have just had a 4-month-old little boy. And that alone can cause a lot of stress and actually can bring quite a lot of overwhelm into your life in the most amazing way. But I lasted about 6 weeks doing that, about 7 weeks, because I started to hit a moment, and this is relatively recently. I hit a point where I'd come back from 2025, one of the most stressful years that I've had, and really tried to catapult myself forward, and I just started to push too far. And I was trying to develop every aspect of my life all at once. So what I did was I just prioritized what was important. I just wrote down the most important things: family, then work and house build, and all I was really left with was my meditations and my workout. And obviously a few other smaller things that didn't really matter so much. And so I started to realize that if I took out 2 days a week of my workouts, I would not only create more rest and recovery, I'd have more sleep, but the physical tone or the physical stress on my body would be a lot less. Now, I already have a very physically stressful job to start off with, plus building and also workouts. So my physical body was not only getting stressed out, but the mental and emotional side were actually getting stressed out too. And that brings to the second aspect, and that is create intentional rest and recovery. Just like I was talking about with the workouts, is I was able to replace some of that time to incorporate rest and recovery. But I actually learned this from my time as a professional cricket player. Every single time before we did anything, before we did a gym session, before we did a skill session, or just any kind of normal training days, there was huge recovery beforehand. Stretches, foam rolling, banded workouts, strength sessions, just like that. Simple routines that we had locked down. Every single one of us had a slightly different tweak to what we wanted to do, depending on what we were doing. But that was the most amazing thing that I realized once I stopped, was actually just how fast my body got more sore, and how quickly it kind of got to the point where I was really, really sore, aching, and actually just my flexibility went out the window. But creating intentional rest and recovery is so important. And that's why I didn't get rid of meditation. Meditation for me was a huge rest and recovery for my mental and emotional side, that my more non-physical spiritual side. That is what was so good. And then I just started to incorporate some more stretches into my workouts. So instead of doing 6 different things in my workouts, I'll do 5, and I'll incorporate one of those things as a stretching session. And I just would tweak it so I was incorporating, not so much adding more things to my life, but I was replacing what I was doing to make sure I had this key aspects of rest and recovery. That alone really helped kind of prolong any type of stress happening well before I even got to that. I'd crossed that line before I'd kind of gotten too stressed out and too burnt out. Rest and recovery is the thing that's going to really prolong any of that happening. And that brings us to the third one. And that third one, celebrate the little wins. Celebrating the little wins is so key, because when burnout happens, what I found was burnout seemed to happen more so not because of the hard work itself, but it was coming from when you were doing hard work but not getting the results that you needed. And that was the really tough one, was that you're grinding, and we've got this hustle culture, which is a great thing. There's some amazing positivities in it. But the truth is, you need to be able to understand the little wins and gains that you've been doing, because that will really be able to help stretch out how long you can really work hard for. An example that I'm going through right now is, of course, the house build is one of the most amazing things that I've done, because I never was a builder. And right now, up to 60% of the first floor, second floor, and third floor of the house is done. And in the wildest dreams, I never thought I'd even be here. And that is the coolest thing, is that when you start to celebrate these little wins and then look back from where you've come from to where you are now, it can give a huge positive spin on this overall negative aspect, what they call burnout. But burnout isn't such a bad thing. It shows that you have huge discipline, huge strength to push yourself, and to really be hungry to get the results that you wanted, to live the life that you wanted. That's the most amazing thing that you can really think of. It shows true growth. And that's what we're about. That's what we're all about here on this channel, is about growth. So first one, cut down on the commitments. Reprioritize what's really important. Second one, we want to make sure that you're creating intentional rest and recovery. And third, celebrate the little wins, because what you are actually doing is an amazing thing, and it shows amazing growth. Now, if you've liked this video, like it and subscribe so you get more of this type of content. I'll see you on the next one.